There are two extremes when it comes to kind of our thoughts on God. You can fall off on either side. This one over here kind of believes that God wants you to be unhappy. Okay, this side, this extreme over here believes that God sets up his laws and his commands so that you're just miserable. Like he sets up in heaven just thinking of ways to make you not happy, and that's how he sets his laws up. So this side kind of thinks that God's after your begrudging submission. Like God wants you to grit your teeth and do what he says to do, even though you're going to hate it. Okay, so this side over here, God's only happy when you're not, kind of a thing over here. Okay, but then there's this side over here, this extreme over here that believes the exact opposite, that God wants you to be happy. Okay, and that in its extreme, this side believes that God's almost a divine waiter or a genie, like he's there to give you what you want to make you happy because that's what he wants. Or he's not seen as an end in and of himself, but he's seen as a means to an end. Like God, you're here to give me this. And a lot of times, if people fall on this side, you spend a lot of time thinking, what can I do to get God to do this? You know, if I do this, this, and this, if I follow these commands, then God's going to do this. You know what I'm saying? So this side spends a lot of time bargaining, a lot of time manipulating God, or at least attempting to. But listen, neither one of those is right. Neither one of those is right. The real truth isn't really somewhere in the middle. It's more like on a deeper level. The real truth is that God is really after your joy. That's what God's after. Now, there's a slight difference. I know some of you are thinking, wait a minute, happiness and joy, come on now, that's just semantics. There's a difference between your happiness and your joy. Happiness is fleeting and it's cheap, right? It's found in a good dessert. You're happy until it's gone, right? It's found in a nice weekend like this until Monday hits, right? And then your happiness is gone, right? It's fleeting. Happiness is dictated by the things that happen to us. And as different things happen to us, our happiness levels go up and down. That's what happiness is. It's kind of an outside surfacey thing. Joy, on the other hand, comes from inside, and it's much deeper and richer. And it's not affected by what happens to you on the outside. It bubbles up from the inside. And that's what God is after. So here's the big truth that you need to get. This is the part that we don't seem to understand. Maybe it's not that we don't understand it, we just don't believe it. But those commands that we were talking about, like over here, the commands and the laws that God made that over here make you miserable, and over here you use the laws and commands to try and manipulate God. Those laws and commands are in reality actually something that's supposed to lead us into deeper joy. That's what the commands are for. That's why God gives them to us, because living the way God wants you to live is actually the most joyous way to live.